we've got a couple changes to the scenario analysis screen. One thing we're adding, one thing we took away, but for good reason. Let me show you what we added first. So there's this field here for your inflation assumption in scenario analysis. I'm gonna add a new scenario here, 2024, and I can change the inflation assumption to whatever I want, 4%, whatever. But right now, at least, or previously, you had to do that on every single scenario. And some people ask for a way to change that default at the firm level, because right now the default is 2. So if you go into settings and you go to customization, and you'll go down to miscellaneous here, and you'll see a new choice here for default inflation percentage. So this is at the firm level, and so I'm gonna change this, let's change this to 3. Click update. And then, so then when I go back to that scenario analysis page I was on, notice that the existing scenarios I had still will have whatever inflation assumption they had on them. But if I create a new scenario, 2024, notice how it defaulted the inflation assumption to 3%. The second thing we did was to the premium tax credit, or alternatively, depending on if you had a credit or you had to pay back, the excess premium tax credit repayment. They both go to the same modal. This is the Obamacare calculation, right? And it's all based on your monthly local benchmark premium, which is dependent on your age and your location in the world. And so you can, the modal actually kind of explains what it's about if you're not familiar with it. But basically, you need to go and find the second lowest silver plan from the healthcare.gov marketplace. That is the benchmark premium for calculating whether you get this credit or an extra tax. We were, as a service, as a way to be helpful, we were pulling from a database of very rough estimate, state by state benchmark premiums from this Kaiser Family Foundation website. And the problem, and we did that to be helpful because we wanted to give people a starting point for entering some number. But I think a lot of people didn't realize that that was just a very rough estimate. That their database was for someone who aged 40, and then it averaged all the county premiums across the state. And what was happening was, I fear that people were assuming that that was the benchmark premium and maybe going out and giving their clients, you know, numbers based on that without, you know, if the client's 61 years old, it's a totally different story. And in fact, one guy like put us on blast on Twitter because he's like, here's Holistiplan with these wrong numbers. And we had to write back and we're like, we're just linking to someone else's stuff. And we say right there on screen, like, these are estimates for someone who's 40. If you want to actually get the benchmark premium, you have to do it. So we had to remove the thing that automatically would default a benchmark premium amount because it was leading people down the wrong path. So I wish we could have kept that as an easy button. The good news is though, there is an easy button out there. So, I mean, the first way to do it is go to healthcare.gov and actually put in your client's information and find the second lowest silver plan. That's the way to do it. That's the gold standard way, or silver standard. That's the way to do it, right? That's the way to get the benchmark premium. Kaiser Family Foundation actually does have a good calculator, which we're also gonna link to, which allows you to, I think, do the same thing, but they kind of do some of the scraping of information for you. So anyway, you can still do the calculation. It still works. It's the same calculation under the covers. It's just that starting point, that benchmark premium. We are no longer going to provide you an estimate or a default value because we felt it was leading people down the wrong path. And we're always trying to weigh simplicity versus accuracy. That's always a decision we have to make designing the system. And this was pushing people way to the side of potentially giving their clients inaccurate information. So that's the change to premium tax credit modal in the system.